for anyone who is looking to bring in web design clients, meaning you are looking for businesses where you want to help them redesign their website and maybe in conjunction with that, redesign their logo, update their pictures, all sorts of stuff, this guide is for you. So what I'm going to do is cover 6 of my tried and tested strategies for getting web design clients. They're things that have worked for me previously, but also things that I see continue to work today. And I'm going to break each one down for you and provide actionable steps for how you can implement these strategies within your business. Before we go any further, I want to just share a little bit about myself and why I feel comfortable and confident giving this advice in the first place. I have, by this point, it's nearly a decade of sales and marketing experience under my belt. I've worked internally and externally with a wide range of businesses. That includes solopreneurs launching a product or service for the first time, mid-sized businesses with 5 to 10 people, organizations of 50 plus, and even up to a publicly traded company. Most relevant to this guide, however, I helped scale Brighter Vision, a website design and marketing solution for therapists, from a few hundred customers when I joined as employee number 3 in 2015 to nearly 5,000 before we were acquired in 2020. Perry, who's now my co-founder at Motion.io and was the founder and my boss at Brighter Vision, was instrumental in helping me learn these strategies and execute them. So I know they work. I feel comfortable and confident that they work, and I want to share them with you all. I just want to say, experience aside, I'll be the first to admit that I don't have all of the answers, and I continue to learn and adapt to a continually changing sales and marketing landscape. So what I'll share today won't cover every possible way you might get web design clients. It will be comprehensive of the strategies that I've seen are most effective time and time again. Before we begin, in order to make these strategies work, there's going to be a couple of key pieces that you're going to need to have in place before implementing them. So the things that you'll need before you begin are, 1, you'll need a defined niche, meaning you know who you work with and you've narrowed it down at least a little bit. Number 2, you need a straightforward service offering that is targeted to your niche. What this breaks down to is you need an elevator pitch that describes what you can do in 15 seconds, the time it takes to go from floor 1 to floor 4. Number 3, you're going to need examples of previous clients you've worked with in that niche. I'm going to tell you why I think you need to have each of these things in place and how you're able to get these things in place if you don't have them right now. So the first thing that I shared is you need to have a niche. Why is this important? Well, I'll tell you. So as a web designer, your clients can choose from any design business, anywhere in the world. Defining your niche is going to help you create effective sales and marketing strategies that allow you to stand out from the pack. It's important to note that how you define your niche might look different from how another web design business does, and there's no set formula. One business might define their niche through demographics or industry, where another web design business might define their niche by company size or services offered. In addition to these characteristics that make up your niche, a business's niche might be specific and another one's might be more general. If you are in the early stages of starting or growing your business, it can be helpful to have a bit of a broader niche to start and then narrow it down as you learn more about your clients. For example, let's say you've worked with a couple of different businesses that can fit the broader category of private medical practices. You worked with maybe a dentist, a orthodontist, a chiropractor. It's okay if you lump all of those together as private medical practices and you say, I am offering web design services for private medical practices. Then as you go further, let's say you start working with a lot more orthodontists. Great. You narrow down to specifically focus on orthodontists. My best suggestion for finding a niche is look at the people you've worked with before. Look for similarities between them. And as you can pull these things out, that should become your niche. Over time, you'll quickly figure out who you work best with, who is happiest with your services, and what kind of clients are the most personally fulfilling for you to work with. So after you find your niche, it's time to create a clear explanation of your services that fit that niche. And this is where the elevator pitch comes in. The reason why I suggest having this elevator pitch is because if you can't quickly and clearly define the services you offer, it's going to be a whole lot more challenging to develop effective strategies that will help you get web design clients. To create your elevator pitch, you want to be able to describe your services in 2 short sentences. To borrow from the previous example of a web design business that was focused on orthodontists, the first sentence of the elevator pitch would read something like this: done for you web design to help orthodontist offices attract more customers online. Great. There's your first sentence. Nice and neat. It says what you do and who you serve. In the second sentence, what you then want to do is provide additional details on your services and other things that might make you stand out from the competitors. Things like logo design, copywriting, ongoing support, or SEO, helping you stand out from your competitors. Combining the first and second sentences together, the elevator pitch for the orthodontist web design example would read something like, Sam's Web Solutions provides done-for-you web design for orthodontist offices to attract more patients online. In addition to web design, we offer logo design, copywriting, and SEO, providing an affordable one-stop shop alternative to other expensive agencies and DIY platforms. And boom, there you go. You have your elevator pitch. While the copy on your website or individual marketing initiatives may deviate from this elevator pitch, having this in place will help you create future content and launch new marketing initiatives much faster and easier and have them be more effective in the long run. So after you know your niche, you have an elevator pitch for this niche. The final thing that you'll need to have in place is you want to have at least 2 to 3 examples of clients you've worked with in that niche. The reason why I think that this is so important is when you can point back to previous clients you've worked with within your niche, it allows you to establish yourself as a specialist. To illustrate why establishing yourself as a specialist and having examples of previous clients is so important, here's an example. Imagine one day your car stops running out of the blue. You try jumping it, you try changing the battery, but when neither of these things work, you decide to seek out professional help. Well, you might go to a repair shop that services any car. Chances are better you will look for a shop that specializes in your car's brand. It's the same way when people are looking for a product. You want to find the best thing possible, and you want to see reviews that are similar to your own scenario. All these things together roll up into a powerful social proof factor. And you need to demonstrate to other businesses that, hey, this worked for somebody else, it can work for you too. When you have examples of clients you've worked with in your niche, you can do some really cool things with this, like provide a portfolio of real-life client work, have testimonials with positive client experiences, utilize industry-specific terminology on your client calls to make you sound more intelligent and reputable about the space you're in, and share client success metrics that will resonate specifically with your niche. And that does it for the 3 things that you need to have in place. A quick recap before you get started on implementing these strategies. The things that I recommend you have in place: 1, you have a niche, you know who that niche is, and you've worked to define it. 2, you have an elevator pitch and services that speak to that niche. And 3, you have at least 2 to 3 examples of clients you've worked with within your niche that you can point back to. Let's talk strategy. So in this guide, I'm going to share 6 strategies that I've used that were highly, highly effective at helping us scale Brighter Vision from 500 clients to nearly 5,000 clients. When we were acquired, I'm going to be breaking them down into 2 separate buckets. So the first bucket of strategies are going to be called immediate strategies, meaning they're things that you can start doing today with no or limited budget, and you'll start seeing clients from within a week or a month. I'm going to cover these 3 immediate strategies in this episode, and then tune in next episode where we'll cover long-term strategies, meaning they're things that may require some budget, they require additional planning, but more importantly, they require consistency and time. These long-term strategies aren't things that you can start doing and expecting that clients are going to be beating down the doors. The most effective full cycle sales funnel is going to combine these immediate strategies with these long-term strategies. Strategy number 1, targeted email outreach. Targeted email outreach might just be my favorite strategy out of this list. And I think even today, where there's a lot of people covering, a lot of people doing it, it's still something that can be underutilized for small businesses, especially design-focused businesses. So what do I mean by targeted email outreach? If you are thinking right now that I'm saying, hey, it's like telemarketing, or you need to be, plugging in your headset and dialing down a list of numbers, that's not what I'm saying. Targeted email outreach is much different from cold calling or cold outreach because it's a much more personalized and thoughtful approach than blasting out thousands of emails randomly. With targeted outreach, you are looking for people that match the profile of your ideal client, that fit inside your niche, that you know have a reasonable chance of wanting to work with you. So you're not hearing, how did you get my contact information time and time again? Instead, you're getting real responses from real people that are thankful that you did the research ahead of time. An effective targeted outreach strategy means you'll know more about each person you're contacting, resulting in more responses and, more importantly, more clients. So what I'll cover is my 3-step process for developing your first targeted outreach email campaign. So the first step in creating your first targeted email outreach campaign, you got to build your list. To make targeted email outreach work, building a list of email addresses and business URLs alone is not going to cut it. What you need to do is show the person reading the email that you know what you're talking about. For web design businesses, what this translates to is having notes on things that you could fix or improve on each prospect's website. This means that you have notes on things like whether or not their website looks good on mobile, whether it has proper SEO or not, whether it's designed to generate sales inquiries or represents the brand well. Whether you build a list on your own or get help with it, make sure you have a system for determining what factors make a business worth adding to your list. For example, if you're a web design business that focuses on conversion rate optimization, point out a couple of things that are going on with the forms. There's too many fields on them, or the website loads slowly. Things like that. Whatever those factors are, make sure you define them and make sure you or whoever's helping you build the list knows about those things going into it. After you build your list, your next step is going to be to create your emails. The reason why I encourage you to create your emails after building your list is you already have an idea of what the selling points are going to be. What's going to make somebody open this email? What can you fix on their website? Writing emails that result in people who have never heard of you replying anything other than not interested is a skill, and it does take practice. And the first emails you write will never be your most effective. But you shouldn't let that fear of rejection or the pursuit of perfection deter you from launching your first targeted outreach campaign, because you may be surprised just how effective your emails are if you have the proper strategy in place. In general, I suggest that every cold outreach campaign has 3 emails. Number 1, you need an intro email. What this email does is it's going to introduce yourself, introduce your business, and explain how you've helped a similar business in a really concise way, and then end with asking the person reading it if they're interested in learning more. You can include a calendar link in this email, but I find it's best to save that for emails number 2 and 3. So after you've written that intro email, what you then need is a call out email. The call out email, the way that I define it, is it's a more personalized email that points out specific things on a prospect's website you can help with if they don't respond. This second email is where I like to start including my calendar link. The ultimate purpose of this email is getting somebody's attention after they didn't respond initially. You need to really stand out from the pack and identify something that you can help with. This call out email is where you'll pull in things from your list, like whether or not a website was mobile responsive or whether it had proper SEO, and mention how you can help with those things. The final email in my sort of 3-phase approach to target outreach is a last chance email. What this last chance email does is if somebody doesn't respond to the other 2, you reference your previous messages, asking if they saw them, and mention how you can help with things 1, 2, or 3 within their business. This again is an email where I think it's really great to include a calendar link, just because you don't want somebody to have to go dig back through your other emails to find that. You want it right there in plain view. If you do want inspiration of creating targeted outreach emails of your own, I will include a couple of resources as well for you to check out. So now that you've created your emails, it is time to begin reaching out. I did want to break this out into a separate step though, because it's not as simple as just plugging in emails and clicking the send button. There's a couple important things that you need before you start. And the most important thing that you need is a way to track responses, to know clearly if somebody is interested, not interested, or didn't respond. The reason why I say that this is so important is because the last thing that you want to do is accidentally message someone who has already scheduled a call with you or responded that they aren't interested. If you plan to consistently do email outreach, investing in a tool that will track responses and automate the process while utilizing a sending domain to avoid potential spam issues can be incredibly worthwhile. Many CRMs like HubSpot or Salesforce can do this, but there's also some specialized tools out there. In the past, I've used Apollo and Lemlist. They're both great options if you want to do cold outreach every week or every month. Regardless of what you use, make sure you have a way to know who's responded and know when it's time to stop reaching out, or better yet, automate the entire process. That does it for my first strategy that we'll cover in this guide, which is targeted email outreach. Did want to share just one bonus tip before we move into the next strategy, and that is to mix up your approach. It's best practice to contact a single person or a business no more than 3 to 4 times. A great way to get more responses from your targeted email outreach campaign is to move it away from email. Contact them through other channels. Things like sending a direct message through LinkedIn or even calling the business's direct number can be really instrumental in helping you break through the noise and get more responses. Strategy number 2. The second strategy I want to cover within this bucket of immediate strategies you can use to start generating web design clients is networking, and more specifically, networking in online communities. Because many businesses will first try the DIY approach before hiring a professional, participating in groups where businesses are looking for help or advice on marketing or web design projects can provide the perfect opportunity to get you in front of hundreds of your ideal clients all at once. Facebook groups and Reddit communities are great options for connecting with other business owners, while industry-specific sites like Dribbble or Behance are really well suited for getting referrals from other designers. At Brighter Vision, I networked with online communities all the time, and the way that I would find them is simply searching therapist marketing or get more clients plus therapists. I was always amazed how quickly I was able to surface specific groups where therapists were looking for ways to get more clients. And by participating in those groups, I was able to build connections and tell people about our services so they became interested in working with Brighter Vision. I will just give a couple quick tips of how you should participate in these groups because it is a little bit more specific. What you want to do when you are joining a group in the first time is don't immediately go there and just post links to your website or your Facebook page for your business. At least not right away. Instead, I recommend sharing your thoughts, commenting on things, and asking questions. Strategy number 3, create, launch, and automate a client referral program. I love client referrals. Client referrals, in my mind, are one of the most effective ways to grow your marketing agency or design business. This strategy is going to be the final one in our group of immediate strategies. And it's one of my most favorite and one of the ways that I saw was most effective at generating new clients. At Brighter Vision, client referrals would send us sometimes 30, 40, 50 clients a month, but it wasn't always like that. There was a time where we still weren't generating client referrals. And that's because we were missing a couple pieces of a client referral program that I think are incredibly important if you want this strategy to be the most effective. A good client referral program has 3 key components. Number 1, it involves you asking your clients referrals and you're not just expecting them to come in magically. Number 2, the process of a client giving you a referral is super easy, meaning they don't have to go out of their way. And number 3, it's incentivized, meaning you are offering something in return. I have 2 specific places that I think work really well for asking client referrals. So the first place is directly after a client signs their contract or pays their invoice and is ready to start working with you. The second place is all the way at the end, after their project is complete. The reason why I suggest these 2 places for asking for that referral are because these are when I typically find that clients are the most excited. Sometimes in the middle of the process, things can hit a bit of a lull. To make the process easy, my suggestion is you create a form that automatically gets sent to clients where they can enter the information of their friend, colleague, or family member to refer. This was one thing that we did at Brighter Vision that absolutely made our client referrals take off. We had a automated email that got sent when somebody's website went live, and we would send that client whose website just went live this form that said, hey, did you love your experience? we'll give you $100 for each person you send our way who signs up and becomes a client. We built that email into our workflow with that form. So all that client had to do was enter their email, and the person that they were referring got this automated message with a coupon code and a link to sign up, as well as a link to speak with us if they had questions before signing up. So that does it for the first 3 strategies that we'll cover in this How to Get Web Design Clients Masterclass.